Ralph Hasenhüttl continues for Southampton. That's 5 wins in 8. And to be honest, weren't asked too many questions by Tottenham over the 90.
They deserved that today, Southampton. I mean, you'd expect Spurs to kick on a bit second half, 1 down. But they were poor today. I wasn't convinced that they were ever going to get back in that. So another brilliant victory for Southampton. Wow, and the questions have been asked just recently.
Yeah.
You know, they produced, and fair play to them. So big congrats to them. But Spurs, again, neither one thing nor the other. Didn't look that mean at the back. Not enough menace going forward.
Yeah, and their encouraging run has coincided with this goal-scoring form shown by Danny Ings. And you love the finish that essentially won it for them.
I love the whole bit about it, to be honest. It's a striker's goal. It's a diagonal run. You're staying onside. You're getting the momentum going forward. You're between 2 defenders. You're pointing to where you want it. It's all those things that you learn as a youngster. When you're this type of player, a channel runner. And, I mean, the flick inside and then the finish. We saw it, actually, if you strike that perfectly, that goes over the bar. You actually try to sort of hit it into the ground.
Yeah.
But the little bit of skill there, one foot onto the other foot. I mean, he's a player full of confidence at the minute. And he's earning Southampton a lot of points.
I mean, he makes a mug there of Alderweireld.
Yeah.
Of a top class defender. One of the, we've been talking about one of the best defenders in Premier League football for the last few years, and almost sends him out the ground for a cup of tea there, Danny Ings, with a brilliant bit of skill. It's a great goal. That's a brilliant finish.
Yeah. And it's good to see Danny Ings enjoying his football again. You know, he's had 2 lengthy spells out with ACL injuries, and he's at his boyhood club, which is also, quite a good story in itself. But Spurs had themselves a penalty shout. Dele Alli. It looked to be fouled by Jack Stevens at the time. You noticed the second tackle in this one.
Yeah, he gets touched twice. I mean, when I first saw it, I thought, I think there's a touch, but I didn't think there was enough. But then when I see it again, I think it's a penalty. You see here, there's one, and then that one is the one that literally takes his legs away. I think that's a penalty. I really do.
Andy?
Well, again, it's that clear and obvious one where I think it's one where I didn't expect VAR to overturn that, but there's certainly contact. There can be no accusations to Dele Alli there about hitting the floor. Certainly it's there. That is enough of a contact on him for him to go down. He's very, very nearly made the most of a nothing sort of situation there, but just about gets away with it.
Then a 5-second spell, essentially, that saw Harry Kane at the forefront. He had a goal disallowed, rightly so, Michael, and this was before he then had to go off with a hamstring injury.
Well, it's a disastrous day for Spurs, losing your top man to this, which is a hamstring injury. You see he pulls up straight away. He does look offside to me, there's plenty of his body that's offside. So I think it's a good decision, great decision from VAR. But that is disastrous. He can't even... I mean, sometimes if you have a little hamstring pull, you can walk off, you can feel it, but you can walk. It don't really make you limp.
So that looked bad to you?
That looks bad to me. That looks like well, I'm not going to say what it is.
No.
It looks like a grade 2 to me. That looks like he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
For that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be walking off in that much pain, unless there's significant little bit of damage there.
He wasn't really stretching for the actual goal, Michael, either, was he? It's not like he's gone full tilt to really stretch every sinew to get on the end of something. It's just gone there. And again, as Michael says, if that's 6 weeks plus, 6 to 8 weeks, it's a vital period for Spurs, because at the moment they just don't look themselves.
The only positive, of course, is that Son comes back from suspension next time around.
Yep. Yeah. True.
Yeah. And he's filled in before very well, hasn't he? But it doesn't matter. That's a killer blow for Tottenham if he's out for a few weeks.
Yeah, he is their talisman. To Vicarage Road, what a big win for Watford.
On their New Year's Day, those 2 results from earlier. Brighton 1, Chelsea 1. Brighton coming back from behind with a spectacular equaliser. Burnley 1, Aston Villa 2. What a vital victory for Villa to take them out of the bottom 3. And as we've seen, Leicester 3-0 winners at Newcastle. Southampton 1-0 against Tottenham here at St Mary's. And that vital win for Watford 2-1 against Wolves. On the way shortly, just over half an hour's time. Manchester City against Everton. Norwich City against Crystal Palace. West Ham against Bournemouth is huge towards the bottom of the table as well. Just a point between those 2. It's then rounded off by Arsenal against Manchester United, the final game of the day. Liverpool-Sheffield United completes the lineup tomorrow night. Let's have a look at how it stands then. Leicester, as we say, back within 10 of Liverpool, but they have currently played a couple of games more. Manchester City in third, about to get underway shortly. Tottenham missing the chance to make ground. Both they and Wolves beaten, and they stay where they are in the top half of the table. Down at the other end, Southampton up to 11th place after their third win in 4 unbeaten games. They are the big movers. Villa out of the bottom 3 today as well. Plenty more New Year's Day action still to come, but we sign off here at St Mary's with a 1-0 Southampton win.
Thanks very much to your commentators Phil Blacker and Tony Gale, and the resurgence. Welcome back, half-time at St Mary's, and Southampton are leading Tottenham. That man again, Danny Ings, and worth the lead at the break for you, Anne?
I think they are. I think they started sharper. Spurs a bit sluggish. Don't look like they're knitting everything together. Spurs, look, with the likes of Harry Kane and Dele Alli, they can get back in it at any given moment. But I think Southampton at the moment have been better.
And what did you make of the goal itself, Michael?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. From a centre-forward's point of view, it's just perfect. It's what you get taught. That was my get. You know, as soon as I see a ball getting picked up like that, it's a diagonal run. It means you've got the momentum. Watch, he's just almost in the position in between the centre-halves. As soon as they win the ball, he's pointing. He knows where he wants it. He's making runs between the centre-halves, and then, well, talk about the finish. You can see there, pointing away. He knows he just wants it in that little avenue there, and he flicks it back in, makes sure he keeps it down, smacks it hard into the ground. What a goal that is. That is just pure centre-forward play. Brilliant.
Confident finish. Anything Alderweireld could have done differently?
Yeah, should have done a lot better. He's got to make sure he keeps Danny Ings in that gully, in that channel. The minute Danny Ings wants to come back, then Alderweireld becomes second favourite there. So he should have kept him at a tight angle and said, if need be, have the shot from there, and you'd expect your goalie to save it.
No, there haven't been too many clear-cut chances from a Spurs perspective, but at 0-0, they had a shout for a penalty. Jack Stevens on Dele Alli. Michael, how did you see that?
When I first saw it, I thought he went down in stages. I thought he was a bit slow going down, so I thought there'll probably be a little touch, but I thought he made a meal of it. But then when you see this angle, then I think it's a penalty. There's one touch there and then a bigger touch there. First one I thought probably wasn't enough, but then the second one hits him a lot harder, and I think that's a penalty kick.
Let's have another look at that. Andy?
Yeah, again, he has sort of a couple of little nibbles at that. Look, the second one certainly catches him. Clear and obvious will be the referee's get out there. Is it a clear and obvious mistake? I suppose you'd have to say no, not a clear and obvious mistake. So I'm not surprised it didn't get overturned, but there was definitely contact.
OK. Spurs did have one chance of note, Jan Vertonghen.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the last person you want it to fall into a centre-half. Leaning back. You know, they're not as easy as they look. Sometimes you need to miss-hit them. Just like Danny Ings almost smacking it into the ground. Yeah. You need to miss-hit it. Because when you're going back and the ball's coming up, just physics will say, if you just swing naturally, it goes that way. Yeah. So you've got to sometimes try to miss-hit it. Obviously, he's not that experienced in that situation. Spurs
got a bit of work to do, haven't they?
They've got some gears to find, definitely. I think they can. The game's not away from them, certainly not. But they've got to get better quickly.
OK. 2 other games to bring up to date. They're at half-time as well. Let's go to Vicarage Road. Watford's resurgence under Nigel Pearson continues. They're 1-0 up against Wolves. Gerard Deulofeu, and what a nice finish that is, Michael.
Well, there's been a couple of shocking passes that have led to goals in the first halves of these games. Dendoncker there with a really poor pass. Square in your own third. Awful. However, I mean, your eyes light up when the ball just gets rolled to you like that. Right-footed play, it's just a natural finish to hit it into the far corner. Very good finish, but a very obvious one, a very natural one.
Yeah, there's a bad pass coming up a little later after this one. Joel Linton had a chance for Newcastle against Leicester. That's at 0-0. To do better there.
Yeah, he doesn't really get it sorted out, does he, out of his feet? Now watch this for the craziest pass of the season from Lejeune. Where is that going across your own 18-yard box? I'll tell you where it's going, straight in the back of your neck. Brilliant finish from Jose Perez, but why, oh why, would you play a ball like that when they've set the trap there, Leicester, they're waiting to do it. And again, another bad pass here, Michael. What a finish this is, though.
Well, exactly. I mean, Newcastle have sort of caused their own downfall in a way. The first pass was horrific. That wasn't very good either. And you don't want to be giving it Maddison on the edge of the box. But with his weaker foot, what a finish that was.
I'm not quite sure you can call it a weaker foot, to be honest. Leicester had another chance here. Kelechi here, Nacho. No Jamie Vardy in the squad, incidentally, but Yeah, they could have made that 3-0 at the break.
Well, they're playing so well. I mean, Newcastle's not an easy place to go.
It isn't.
They're making it look easy. They've had all the chances, look very dangerous on the counter-attack. The best players not playing, and they're still flying.
72% possession as far as the Foxes are concerned. In our feature match, well, there's only one goal that's